of a diverse landscape. We have lowland at the range of sea level to 1,200 meters above. It's categorized as a lowland agricultural ecological zone. And from 1,300 to 2,000 meters, it is categorized as highlands. And then further from 2,000 to over 4,000 meters is the higher highlands altitude. In terms of drought, there are two middle ways where we experience drought. One is through rainfall variability and the intensity. For example, like the meteorological variable can say that you received 300 or 200 millimeters of rainfall from one particular area, but this rainfall can be concentrated into one particular week, and then that forces surface runoff without percolating into the soil. And the rest of the 3 weeks, you will experience dry spell. That happens when heat waves it's to high evapotranspiration that leads to drought. And this is like happening regularly, not like in long term, but it's happening regularly. That is one. And number two, we experience the El Nino induced drought. El Nino is a phenomena that exists between East and West Pacific that leads to extreme drought and then excess moisture or flooding. So it happens like in the 80s, 90s, and then to 2000. The last El Nino we experienced was in 2022 and then 2000, and then currently we are under the super El Nino. It is into its advanced state where, as I am speaking here, my country is facing water shortage, food gardens dried out. So that is the common problem we have in my country as well as other Pacific Island countries. They experience these two kind of droughts in the Pacific area. So when it comes to coping, in 1997, the National Agricultural Research Institute, after a very devastating drought, they decided to come up with the coping strategy. And in that coping strategy, we have roughly three main coping strategies that they have developed. So after the 1997, and they published that within the country in 2000 and around 2022. So the first coping strategy is called the long-term strategy. That long-term strategy is like we collect the drought coping technologies and the relevant indigenous knowledge or other research approved technologies. We have to disseminate them through projects or other collaborative research and development projects to prepare our people to expect the drought. That is called the long-term coping strategy. And then the other is the short-term. The short-term strategy is a coping strategy that applied exactly during the drought. That short-term strategy has three stages. One is called the pre-coping strategy. The pre-coping strategy is where we get the early warning message from the National Weather Service. After they said that there will be a drought, we have to do awareness on that information, and it has to go through the community throughout the country in appropriate medium. And then the second is the during drought coping strategy. The during drought coping strategy is where we do assessment we do the drought assessment. The National Agricultural Research Institute has come up with a tool called the combo toolbox, where we developed a questionnaire capturing water security, food security, health issues, and other related biophysical assets like bushfire. We capture all of them into that survey tool, and we send them to relevant districts and provincial um, government workers and NGOs to do the survey, to capture the data on the ground, and after that they have to upload. The good thing about this tool is you can work offline and then you can send it once you have a better network. So once we get this data, we have to process it, and then we quantify the drought impacts, and then we categorize them into the type of categories that they are, and then also we plan target interventions that can address particular areas based on the needs. After that, we submit the report to the central government agencies and donors for funding with the budget and the work plan the action plan that we developed, and then we send it to the central government agency for funding accordingly. Once we receive the funding, we engage the technical people based on our recommendation to go out into the affected areas for yeah. And then after that, that is the during coping strategy. And for the final stage for the drought short-term strategy is the post-drought coping. During the post-drought coping, we normally our research organization as the germplasm of plant genetic materials, as well as other planting materials that can be need to start up the new life under the normal rainfall conditions. So we have to supply all these things to the needed area. That is the coping strategy that we normally use. So from my observation, in Papua New Guinea, it's a concern where we need to do more research in the SLM, because to come up with a technology that can regulate moisture and then conserve, and because in the past people they have distinct weather pattern where they plan it very well, but at this point of time they cannot plan. So we have to come up with SLM practices that can cope or contain that stress, and then maintain productivity of the plant agricultural productivity. And then the other one was the delayed response from the government and NGO that affects the affected areas. So we have the need to take this into policy or something, and then there has to be a budget on it to run it when the time comes. And then the other one is we don't have enough meteorological stations in the agroecological zone, so that can help us project the weather projections, and then other uh, information related to that. We don't have the real time meteorological observation data on the ground at different. That is one of our challenges. And then from since 1997 up to 2000, this current drought, we try to develop a resource centers in different agroecological zones so that we can put the information in those particular areas so that they can be easily taken up by the people to cope and to be resilient in drought. Thank you.